Welcome to Go From Them. My name's Dwight, and with my wife Lucia, we're travelling the world in our expedition truck Konokono with our dog Finn. Right, so before we cut into today's video, which is going to talk about the truck, a bit of an introduction to the outside of the truck, let me talk to you about an update on our activities as Go From Them. So the idea is, as we travel across country, get involved in a project, small but something that really helps the community. Hopefully, if you're following, gives you more of an in-depth understanding of the people that we meet as we travel, but also gives back, which is so important, to travel with purpose. So we launched our first one, which is a litter collection initiative in the south of South Africa, near Durban. It's the first time we've ever done it, so we tried to set up a GoFundMe. We tried to create a video with the help of the children, actually, at the community centre, and that's just gone live. So please go check that out. We'll use a link in the description. And if you could subscribe, because we just launched this YouTube channel. I think we've quadrupled their numbers of subscribers in the last week, so we've gone from 1 to 4. The only sad thing is I know all 4 of them. One of them's my wife, one of them's me. I think we may have even got the dog to subscribe, so that means only one other person, which may be one of our children, but not both of them. That's pretty sad, right? So surely you're going to help us out by subscribing. Okay, on to the video. MAN, but it was originally made by an Austrian company, apparently. I found this out because of in South Africa, when we were on the tip of the southernmost point in Africa, an Austrian guy was so excited to meet us, and he talked about being one of the 2 designers of the truck over sort of 30 years ago, and then it started production about 30 years ago, and this whole truck, including the back, is almost 25 years old, so it's not new at all. And it's an Austrian military design, which was then bought by MAN, and he assured me, of course he would, that it is the best truck that MAN has ever made because of the specifications of the. It's not too bad, and it gives us the best bumper in the world. Yeah, if we touch anything as we're driving, this is our bumper, and it's pretty scary if you're driving either away or towards us, which is good. It's a bit formidable, but it also means a lot of protection for us. Okay, it's registered in Germany. It's a Unicat, right? So the conversion from a truck to a camper was done by Unicat originally about 24 years ago. So it's one of the not the originals, but it's not a new one. So the tire system here takes air from the main compressor and enables me to inflate and deflate the tires when I need to. And I've got a indicator inside of what bar I should do. The water, 600 litres of water, 3 separate tanks, never run down to the minimum on each tank. You leave about a quarter just in case the next tank is not drinkable. We have 2 separate tanks of diesel, 300 litres each, so that's 600 litres of diesel. Both the water and the diesel we try to keep quite high, especially the water, because we just don't want the stress of trying to find water again. This is a generator, I think it's 3.5 kilowatt generator. It's operational from inside. You just press a button and it starts charging the batteries. The body is made out of very compact materials, but very thick. So it gives you insulation, it gives you strength, it also enables movement. So when we're going off-road, the body actually has a little bit of movement in it. Now the windows themselves are probably one of the huge benefits of the truck, because you can't break into them, and they're very high, which makes us feel very secure, which is... So, you know, levelers, when you put them underneath the back or the front wheels, and I bought 5-ton levelers, which is okay because we're 14-ton, but every axle is a maximum 5-ton. So that means you should be able to use them. Well, they lasted almost no time at all. And in the heat in Mali, I think, it was so hot, it was made out of plastic, they melted. So not completely melted, but just melted and warped enough that I couldn't fit them in the same place twice that I created for them. So can you see at the back there we have a motorbike? It's a Honda Zuma. It's a bit of a classic in Europe, but it's not known elsewhere. It has 2 lights at the front and thick tyres, but it's quite small. This is our recovery motorbike, right? And the tyres are costing a fortune now in Africa because they have to ship them in. Shipping is expensive because of COVID. So each one of these tyres is super expensive. So I dare, and it's not a bad tyre. It's got a puncture, which is mended, but it's not so bad. So I put it at the top for like maybe having to need it. But it does add height. So it's already about 3.6 meters high. With the tyre as well, it goes up to maybe 3.8. Okay, and then you can see as you go along, you've got the stairs, which are just a Corsetina type metal stairs. This is very manual. It's literally a little bit of a workout to get open and shut them. They go up to the main door, which is a very, very heavy locking door. You can see inside, this is our bathroom. And then inside you can see the storage containers. So the storage containers there, we have our electrical hookup, we have some sports equipment, and we have all the stuff for the dog in there. And you can see the canoe at the top. Can you see there? So we're in a great location next to the waterfront, as you can see. But it was a tough journey to get here. A lot of mud roads, which were dry but really scaling. And now, can you see that? It looks like the weather's changing. Can you hear that?
Let me tell you,
three interesting facts about Eswatini. The first one, it's a landlocked country. It has Mozambique on one side, it has South Africa on the rest. The second thing is it's a monarchy, and it's an absolute monarchy. It's actually called a diarchy, and actually it's a shared power between the king and his mother, although the king has outright control, to be honest. But the reason the mother is in the picture is because it's not the firstborn son who gets the monarchy, it's actually potentially the lastborn son. So by the time the king dies, his lastborn son could be quite young. So for example, the last king had 150 wives. So when you've got 150 wives and they've all got children, it's possible that your last child is going to be very young. And therefore the queen has to look after things until the king is old enough. But once he's old enough, then the king has absolute control. In fact, he has complete control over the politics as well. So every 5 years there's an election for new politicians, and it's the king who decides. So there is no democratic election, it's just simply the king deciding on who's going to be in politics. And that obviously could cause a rift if there's not prosperity. And unfortunately, Eswatini, like a lot of Africa, has a lot of youth which are unemployed, and a lot of discourse then because they're seen as not having a voice in what's going on, understandably, because the monarch has complete control. The third thing, which was a surprise to me, is it has the world's largest monolith. What's a monolith? Good question. A monolith is a single piece of rock. And people may say Australia has the largest rock, Ayers Rock, and apparently it kind of does, but Ayers Rock has got a split in it, and therefore it's cracked, and therefore it's two rocks. And if you take two rocks, then this rock, this monolith, is actually the largest in the world.
Room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin.
And I did climb it. Up early this morning, about 6, getting ready to walk the rock. Stayed it last night, just pulled in here and asked the neighbourhood if we could stay in the driveway. And all good, yeah.
I would change it if I
could. So Ayers Rock in Australia is huge, but apparently it's got a crack in the middle. This one, which is a huge rock in Eswatini, isn't broken. So actually larger than Ayers Rock. And we just walked today with Finn at the top, as you can see. Looking quite majestic, if you ask me. What a beautiful walk, and what a lucky day we had.
swear that I'm fading, I think I'm losing my sight. I swear I'm hitting the floor. Take any more. You make me feel kinda bad, kinda good, kinda everything, yet it doesn't feel like it should. You make me feel kinda wrong, kinda right, kinda anything, and I would change it if I could.
That's 3 interesting facts. Landlocked, monarchy, largest rock in the world. And, not a fun fact, but a fact. It's a beautiful country in terms of both people and landscape. How lucky are we? Hey Finn? So just before we wrap up this episode, have you ever wanted to be a pioneer, a first, somebody who does something before anyone else does? Then subscribe, because we only have 4 followers, so if you join as well, that would be 5, and 5 is 25% more than 4, and I'd really appreciate it. And if you're one of my children and you're watching this, please